What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We're here talking about Leeds, Chelsea. Tomorrow, Chelsea hosts Leeds at Stamford Bridge. 11:30 a.m. kickoff time out here on the West Coast. 7:30 p.m. kickoff time out there in the UK, where Chelsea look to get 3 points in a very important month of February, where Chelsea must pick up maximum points to continue the charge to getting a top 4 or 5 spot in the Premier League and just continue the good run of form that they're in, right? The performances haven't been the best, but when you're picking up results, eventually the performances for a full 90 minutes will be there. So if you like these kind of videos, you like sports, soccer, anything like that, drop a like, comment, share these videos, get engaged in the comment section. Check out the shorts. I upload shorts pretty frequently, at least a couple a day, just talking about whatever Chelsea's going through, whatever football-related topics I find interesting. So if you like that, go ahead and check out the shorts. They will be linked throughout the entire video. With that being said, we're actually going to get into a couple news topics before we get into the actual preview for Chelsea versus Leeds. So there's a couple stories I want to get into before we actually go into the preview for Chelsea versus Leeds. So the first story, we're going over to X. We're going to be talking about Nico Jackson. I spoke on him in a short last week about the Palmer and the Jackson partnership, the link up, how successful they were when they were on the pitch together and how they brought out the best in each other, right? Nicholas Jackson, exclusive, is set to return to Chelsea from his loan spell with Bayern in the summertime. The Bavarian Giants are unimpressed with his performance and have no intention of signing him permanently at the end of the season. They're now considering signing a new backup striker for Harry Kane in the summer. So is this too surprising? No, because I believe it was the obligation to buy him for like $60 million was never going to be triggered, because I feel like there was a clause in the contract where he needed to play a certain amount of games and at least play 45 minutes in those games to be considered a full game of playing. Now, when you're the backup to Harry Kane, you're not going to be starting a lot of games, if any, right? So that obligation to buy was never going to be triggered. So he was always going to come back at the end of this season. Now, do Chelsea go ahead and reintegrate him back in the squad? I made the case that he's better than Liam Delap, and he's better than what we have at the center forward position. If you take João Pedro out of it, he's better than Liam Delap. And 2 goals in 21 games for Liam Delap, it just isn't good enough if you're the Chelsea center forward, right? Now, he's had to go through injuries. He's had the shoulder issue. He's had the hamstring issue, sure. But when he's on the pitch, he's not being clinical enough. And it's just not good enough for a position that Chelsea are desperately crying out for, like a legit center forward. João Pedro, yes, I saw the interview a few days ago where he prefers to be the striker, but we all know he's not a center forward at the end of the day. We know he's a second striker /10 that can play the striker position if he has the right pieces around him, right? Nicholas Jackson, when he was with Chelsea, had the right pieces around him. The problem with him was his finishing, him being clinical enough, right? And that's what frustrated a lot of Chelsea fans, including myself, where he would miss gilt edge opportunities or wide open nets because he's thinking about the celebration before he's actually putting the ball in the back of the net, right? So is he somebody that we bring back in the summertime? I would do it, because what he does so well is that his hold-up play, he's able to link in your Cole Palmers, and your wingers, right? But he's also great at leading the press and winning the ball in advanced areas to kickstart our counterattacks, right? And that's something that Nicholas Jackson did very, very, very well. And that's something that I'm not seeing from Liam Delap and even João Pedro a little bit, right? So I'm for bringing a Nicholas Jackson back to the club and seeing what he can do under Liam Rossini. But it all depends if he wants it and if the board can be like, okay, we may have made a mistake in actually sending you out on loan because the guy that we signed for $30 million just isn't cutting it. So we can reintegrate him back. Omega is also supposed to come in the summertime. So somebody at the center forward position has to go. In my opinion, I don't think Liam Delap makes it through. I don't think he's a Chelsea player at the start of next season. I think somebody else is going to come in for him, or he can actually play in a team where it's not so based on ball possession and it's just based on trying to finish chances and just being a physical team, because Chelsea aren't a physical team. And that's where I think Liam Delap is struggling. He's used to playing in teams that are physical, that don't have the ball as much, and he's able to capitalize on counterattacks or create something out of nothing like he did at Ipswich, but he's not doing it with Chelsea. Maybe it's just too big of a jump, but it's also the fact that he just wasn't ready to come to Chelsea at the time. So we go on from Nico Jackson. I believe that they should take a chance on him, bring him back, and see what he can do under a different manager, right? So we then go to Pedro Neto. I did a short about Pedro Neto, about how he removed the Chelsea part of his bio off his Instagram, off his Twitter, or whatever, right? So it says here from Just Chelsea, Just CFC via Kieran Gill. Chelsea could decide to listen to offers for Pedro Neto this summer, or could decide to keep him for his experience. Now, you're reading that last part about experience, like the board don't care about experience. But if they end up keeping a guy like this, then I guess it is like you are looking at trying to bring in more experience rather than just buying all these young players and hoping they can make it to the first team and then resell them in like 3 years. But Pedro Neto is playing his way out of a Chelsea shirt. The selfishness he has on the pitch at times, and you can see the reaction from his teammates, isn't the greatest, right? And when you're in it for yourself, it looks like majority of the time, you're going to start to frustrate your teammates, your coaches, and the fan base is already over how you play. You know, I saw this tweet, I think a few days ago, about how people are comparing him, or not comparing him, how Pedro Neto thinks he's like Eden Hazard. I don't think he thinks he's Eden Hazard. He's just trying to do what he can do on the pitch to provide for the team. Now, it doesn't always come off, but at the end of the day, on his day, he's a really good player. The frustrating thing about him is how he overcomplicates attacks and he slows down the attack. If he can just be more decisive, take more risk, and actually take a chance, he's not a player that you just want to sell in the summertime, because he can go to a Premier League rival and do exceptional for them. But if his unselfishness can't change, or if his selfishness can't change, then yeah, absolutely sell him, because you can get some good money for him and actually reinvest that money into an elite winger. But Pedro Neto has wrote his own issues at Chelsea in terms of how he's been playing. And I feel like in the back of his head, he even knows he could be playing better and he can be a bit more inclusive with his teammates on the pitch. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this preview. I don't have a lot of time. I have to get ready for work soon, but we're going to go ahead and jump into this preview. There's a few quotes from Ursinia I want to speak on before I give you guys my lineup and my score prediction here. So Ursinia was asked about Reece James, if he's going to be available, because he wasn't in the squad on Saturday against Wolves. So he said Reece is fit, but he's feeling unwell. This is the truth, not a conspiracy. Hopefully he feels better for tomorrow so he can be up for game selection. So for me, if Reece is available and he's ready to go, he starts tomorrow. Like, there's no reason why, in my opinion, he shouldn't be on the pitch. If he's sick and he's not feeling well, I understand. But if he's fit, ready, and available, there's no reason why your club captain should not be ready for an important home game tomorrow, right? So he also spoke on Josh Achiapong and where he feels like where his best position is. He said Josh is an amazing talent. I've got to meet him and his parents. I like to put people in different positions because it improves their understanding of the game long term. Josh is a center back and has all the attributes to become a great one. And I agree, he's a center back by trade, but being able to play in other positions, be that right back and invert in to form a pivot with a Caicedo, with Reece James, with an Enzo, with the Andre Santos, right? Being able to play multiple positions will help your game, and it will actually open your horizons on what you can do on the pitch. So I'm not expecting, if Reece James is not in the squad tomorrow, I would like to see Achiampong start this game, least 60 minutes, and then you bring on, if Reece James is in the squad, you bring him on last 30 minutes. But Achiampong, to me, deserves to start because I feel like there is a enormous potential, great talent there. You just have to play him, right? So he also spoke on the injury updates here. Andre is a soldier, swollen ankle, but he trained, fine for tomorrow. Tostin's looking good. He trained today. Romeo Lavia, right? The guy that continues to go missing. He's back with us in training. It's great to see him. We have a really detailed plan for him so that when he's back for good. So I'm thinking it's minutes restriction for him. He's not going to be playing more than like 15 to 20 minutes a game at this point. Like the way that he's been getting injured and the way that he's finding himself off the pitch more often than he's being on the pitch, he's not going to be playing a full 90 minutes for a very long time. You're looking at probably 15, 20 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes on the pitch just to get his legs back under him. And maybe towards the end of the season, if you need to spell for certain players, he can come in and he can put in a shift. But I don't see Romeo Lavia really playing 90 minutes at all for the rest of this season. So we go ahead and get into, the actual preview and what to expect out of this game, right? I mean, I expect Chelsea to come out firing. They need to, I feel like they understand what the task is for this month is getting maximum points, making sure your league position is strong. That way, going into March, you're on a good run of form going up against Arsenal, going up against Aston Villa, going up against Everton, going up against Man City, right? Going up against these teams that are in the top half of the table where you need to put in performances. Under Enzo Maresca, yeah, we showed up for the bigger teams, but when we played the quote-unquote smaller teams that are lower in the league, we find it an issue because they set up in a low block and we have problems breaking that down. Leeds United, on the other hand, are a bit different of a kettle of fish. When I forgot his name, the Leeds boss who was there, not Jesse March, what was his name? Bielsa, right? Bielsa was that guy that just allowed Leeds to go forward, attack, right? Leeds now, yeah, they still throw a lot of players forward. They have Calvert-Lewin, who's playing very well this season. Leeds have other good players there that are actually playing pretty well. So it's not going to be an easy game tomorrow because Leeds-Chelsea is always a proper game at the end of the day. But Chelsea need to be ruthless tomorrow. They need to take a risk. They need to take chances. They need to put Leeds to the sword early. Do not allow them to get comfortable. Don't allow them to get confident. Take the game to them. Make them make decisions in their back line, right? So my lineup for tomorrow is pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. Robert Sanchez, Mark Cucurella, Wesley Fofana, Chalobah, Achiampong at right back if Reece James is not available. Enzo, Caicedo. I want to see Palmer. I want to see Esteval and João Pedro on the pitch at the same time. There's no reason why they should not be on the pitch at the same time at this point in the season. They're all fit. They're all healthy. They should be on the pitch at the same time. There's no reasoning why they shouldn't be, right? On the left, it's really like, who do you want to see on the left at this point? For me, like, people don't want to see it. Just put Garnacho on the left and see what he can do. He's so hot and cold, you don't know what you're going to get from him, so you might as well just have him out there, right? And then João Pedro, obviously, starting up top. Score prediction for tomorrow. They beat us 3-1 at Ellen Road. I'm expecting a bit of a tighter game in this one, only because we, for some reason, played down to the competition of the team that we're always playing, except for Wolves. So for me, I got Chelsea winning 2-0. I do think we keep a clean sheet. I do think it is a very tight game at first, but once we score the first goal, I feel like there is going to be a lot more space left behind for us to get the second in the second half, and then we get the 3 points. We focus on Hull on Friday, and then we turn our attention to Burnley. But with that being said, I got to get out of here. I got to start getting ready for my actual job. So yeah, I got Chelsea winning 2-1. Drop your predictions, score predictions, lineups, all that stuff in the comment section. Drop a like. sub, share the videos, check out my shorts. And with that being said, I'm Jason. This is No Filter Chelsea. I'm gonna get out of here. Have a good rest of your day. I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.